Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to once again talk about our favorite...
Dude, like Rob Liefeld is amazing! He's got lots of guns!
Didn't I kill you?
Whoa. I'll come back later.
It's time for us to talk about our favorite Merc with the Mouth as we take on Deadpool 2. The Deadpoolining?
Deadpool Boogaloo.
Yeah, I think either one of those he'd approve of. So, welcome back to Drak and Shadow Vlogs, where we take we go very spoiler heavy into a most recent movie. Now we're a little late on this one. It's just because the stars didn't align. We couldn't actually we actually had to see it separately, and then the stars didn't align, and we couldn't get together to vlog it. So now we're here. Now we're here to talk about our favorite Merc with the Mouth. Let's go ahead and get into it, and go ahead and start off with, as walking out of this film, did we like or dislike it?
I really liked it. I had fun with it.
Okay. I'm going to add this question onto it because a viewer wanted to at least know this. Deadpool 2, better than Infinity War?
I don't know. I think that's such an apples and oranges comparison. I know they're both superheroes, but they're very different kind of superheroes.
I think the main thing that people were asking about is like its depressing end. Which one was better? And at that point, no, it's really difficult to compare. In fact, one of the questions I've gotten kind of annoyed with friends is which is better, Deadpool 1 or Deadpool 2? And this is a similar situation to what I have to deal with Guardians of the Galaxy. In my opinion, you can't compare Guardians 1 to Guardians Volume 2. They're two very different stories. And so at that point, the same thing applies to Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. Deadpool 1 was establishing our Merc with the Mouth. This one is actually trying to give him purpose in a weird way, and it ultimately doesn't end up working out.
Yeah.
So... that being said, let's go ahead and get into... So overall, I liked it too. When I walked into it, I thought that, where else can you go with Deadpool that is not going to appear completely outlandish? Like, unlike a lot of Deadpool fans, I don't think that we should ever get a movie adaptation of Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe. I just don't think that should happen, people. And it won't happen. So at that point, let's get into our likes, starting with you, Alex. What did you like about Deadpool 2?
Okay, Ryan Reynolds is great as always with Deadpool. I liked it was a bit more scaled up than the first one, so it makes sense because it's like you ask, where can you go after that, and how do you also do more without just doing the same movie? Well, you scale up, you do something a bit different. So with this, we introduce X-Force.
We'll get there.
Yes, he's aware it's derivative, but okay. So we get the
No, that's not my problem. My problem is that X-Force is Rob Liefeld's wet dream. But anyway, go on.
So I really liked it. I liked seeing Deadpool. I liked seeing where else they could go. I liked the whole opening credits thing again, where they found a new way to do goofy opening credits again. I missed overpaid. I'm sorry, it wasn't directed by an overpaid tool this time, but this new.
Actually, that was the cool part. Is like directed by. What the fuck did you just do?
Yeah. Well, what the fuck did you just do?
Yes.
May not be quite the same.
In fact, in my theater,
tool.
I actually had a guy who all of a sudden they killed off. Spoiler alert! They killed off his girlfriend. Like the whole purpose of that movie was to make sure that Deadpool got the girl in the end. And what do you do in the first 10 minutes of the second movie? You kill her off. And I actually had a guy in my theater. He's like, "What the fuck just happened?" And then as soon as that credit came up, he's like, "I know, right?" And all of us were just like, there was like 30 to 50 people in there. It was like, this is more entertaining than anything.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me when I saw the third Monica Magica movie at theaters. That was years ago, but I remember somebody shouting, "What the fuck was that?"
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a weird movie. So back on Deadpool. Anyway, the movie.
Besides, where else could you go with the plot aside from where they went? Of course, add in time travel.
Add in time travel. Josh Brolin, speaking of time travel, Josh Brolin is great as Cable.
Actually, that was another thing. So a listener wanted us to compare him. So Josh Brolin also played our benevolent dictator Thanos.
Yeah.
So do we think he was better or worse as Thanos or Cable?
I don't know. Again, it's just two apples to oranges comparison here. Two different characters.
I'm gonna go with the actor's answer, and you're not gonna like it. And I'm gonna say he did fine. He did great performances in both roles.
Yeah, he's good. This is apples to oranges. Cable's not a villain in this, and Thanos is the.
And
big
I will
bad.
at least compliment Josh Brolin because, well, I don't even think the Marvel Universe understands Cable. So the fact that he gave a good performance with a character that doesn't really make a whole hell of a lot of sense, I'm gonna clap for you, buddy.
Yeah.
So. Don't ask me to get into Cable's backstory. You don't want that.
Time for backstory.
He's Rob Liefeld's wet dream. No,
Isn't everything Rob Liefeld's wet dream?
Well, because he is a Rob Liefeld-esque character.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was exactly created by Liefeld, but I think Liefeld had a part in his development. So to sum things up, I can already tell you this movie doesn't follow any of it. So do I need to explain all of the backstory of Cable? Not really. Here's all you need to know. Cable is the son of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. And he's actually considered to be, in his time, the strongest telepath ever. The only reason you never see him wielding his telepathic powers or his telekinetic powers and he's wielding guns all the time is because he has a techno-organic virus going through his body that he uses his powers to keep it just at his arm. Because if he ever lets go, there are two interpretations of what would happen. Either A, he would become a techno-organic husk that would just fall over, or B, he would become a servant of Apocalypse, the person he's fighting against.
Right.
There you go. You don't need to know any of that because none of that was covered. Cable's backstory was kind of changed in order to accommodate this story.
Yeah. I like how they make fun of a lot of like the X-Men timeline. I mean, as far as our movies go in this, they really have some fun with that. Especially like when he's...
Oh, dude, they didn't just have fun with X-Men. Like...
Yeah. Especially when he's like roaming through the mansion and he doesn't see him, but like in the other room is like all the X-Men first class characters.
And they actually got a dude with a bald head. Like you could kind of see CG Professor X off at the very far end of that room before they close the door.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah. And he's like, where is everybody? Why is this place always so empty? Meanwhile, there's a bunch of people in the room just close the door.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, they did do a lot of fleshing out with mutants and all of that stuff. But here's the thing: the establishing point here was Deadpool and what Deadpool was going through. And so at that point, yes, does it involve Colossus and the X-Men? Yes, but it's mostly a Deadpool story, and that's the way that it should be. But yeah, like we said, like. They did make references to a lot of the X-Men movies that have since happened, including Logan at the very beginning.
Fuck Wolverine.
Yes. But they made fun of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep.
They made fun of DC.
Yeah. Did you catch the Martha?
Like, that was one of my favorite lines.
Yeah.
That
was great.
Sorry, hon. I would have been here sooner, but the superhero that I was trying to kill, I realized he also had a mother named Martha. I was like, yes! The other thing, too, that made me laugh was when Cable was getting ready to go and fight people, he's like, hold it right there, Thanos. I'm like, oh... Yeah. There you go. That's a hit right there. And then the other one that made me laugh was like, wow, this story just got really dark. I mean, darker than DC.
You're from the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh man, there were a lot of really great references. This was the Deadpool I wanted. This was fourth wall breaking Deadpool.
Yeah, a lot of great jokes in this.
So, other stuff that you liked.
Unless I saw this wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is how it went. He was at the institution, not the Xavier one, but like the kind of one by the crazy guy. And he gets like thrown through a window, and he's
crazy Christian dude.
Yeah, and he like signs a cereal box for a kid. It's Rob Liefeld's signature. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yo, like, I laughed at that. Or no, it wasn't Rob Liefeld. It was Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Ryan Reynolds.
It was Ryan Reynolds.
I thought I saw Rob Liefeld.
No, there's another Rob Liefeld joke in there somewhere. I'm not thinking of it off the top of my head, but Rob got made fun of.
Yeah, I think he makes a cameo in it somewhere.
So much so that somebody was actually telling me he got pissed on Twitter after Deadpool 2 came out. Like, Rob got legitimately pissed.
Oh, wow.
So I need to go and confirm this, but It wouldn't be surprising to me. Like when Rob gets made fun of, he doesn't take it well. So other likes that you had here.
TJ Miller's funny again. Yeah, he's crazy in real life, but he's funny.
Too bad he won't make it to Deadpool 3.
Probably.
He'll be too busy in an FBI prison. I gotta bring this one up here really quick because this was kind of one of my dislikes on the matter. What was your take on the kid?
He was okay. What was his name? Fire Fist?
That's what he wanted to be called, and he's supposed to be like one of Cable's future villains. I don't know if he has a name, but yeah, he wanted to be called Fire Fist. I wanted to call him Pain in My Ass because every time he spoke, I wanted to claw my eyes out. Every time he tried to make some kind of New Zealandish reference to Tupac, Def Jam, all that stuff, I'm just like, you gotta stop, kid. You look anything but from the streets right now. You look like you could melt the streets. I'll give you that, but
well, that's kind of the point of his character. He's a kid who's trying to be tough and act tough, and he's not.
But he actually made me consider for a moment, Alex, which one do I want to sit in a room with, him or guy in the chair from Spider-Man: Homecoming? And I'm pretty sure I'd take a bullet either way.
Which guy? You mean the friend from Spider-Man?
The friend from Spider-Man.
Okay, yeah.
So which one would I rather sit in a room with? Fire Fist or guy in the chair?
I'd rather sit with Fire Fist. At least he can heat my coffee.
I'd rather probably take a bullet because both of them drove me nuts. It's the funniest thing. Like, I found him annoying, and I was just like sitting there going, okay, they don't want to kill him because he's going to be a future villain. They just want to kill him because he's just as annoying as ever. But then I also got some really good moments out of that. I got Juggernaut. I didn't think I was going to get... I thought I was going to get X-Men 3 Juggernaut, all right?
I'm the Juggernaut,
bitch! I thought I was going to get that, not legit Juggernaut in this movie. And I got legit Juggernaut, so it's just like, you know, I hate this kid, but without the kid, I wouldn't have gotten Juggernaut. So...
It's a trade-off.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, huh. I will also admit this, and maybe you and me have a different point on this. Any montage involving Domino.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they were all freaking entertaining. Because just like, see, guys, a lot of people don't believe this aspect, okay? Deadpool 2 wasn't wrong about Domino's powers.
She's really lucky.
No. Her powers are she manipulates luck.
Oh.
Okay, that's why she's lucky. She manipulates things so that they always come out in her favor. So it's not that she's really lucky. She intentionally makes it so that she's very lucky.
Nice.
So at that point, I love the fact that she's like, well, I'm just really lucky. And I mean, immediately, since I'm a gamer, I immediately went to Metal Gear Solid 2. But like seeing all of those montages where everything just works out in Domino's favor were hilarious. Like, she's just literally striding through and cars are missing her and hitting each other, and then she eventually makes her way onto the prison bus and for some reason doesn't get killed. It all worked, like, especially when they started putting those I don't know what the actual song was, but like the Smile Happy Day kind of song whenever Domino was doing anything. I thought those were hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, I even thought it was funny where she's like, well, now I just need a bus to get you all out of here. Boom! Everybody on board. So any montage involving Domino was absolutely hilarious. I love what they tried to do with it.
Especially when like the whole team starts getting killed.
Oh, yeah.
Because the winds keep blowing them off course.
Well, and what's really funny is that Shatterstar, who is probably one of the, I think, the longest surviving X-Force members, is probably one of the first to die. And I know why, because like his backstory is so hard to explain without doing a movie on his backstory. And what I mean is, like, you have to go to Planet Mojo to be able to do it. Otherwise it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And they just said, fuck it, we're just gonna kill him off 5 seconds later and we're gonna be fine. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But the other thing I also loved was that a lot of those deaths were their own doing.
Yeah.
Like, their own powers came back to bite them in the ass. So I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And Domino, no, not so much. Domino's just really lucky. Another scene that I've got to admit that I really liked, and it was so freaking awkward, was the you know what I'm talking about.
Which one?
Deadpool has been ripped in half, and he's recovering, and they team up with Cable. So you have like the half adult body and half toddler body of Deadpool. Like, I thought that the first movie I wasn't gonna be able to get over all of that, and then they did it here, and I'm just like, bravo, this works even better, especially when they had to tease the toddler's ass. Oh geez. And somebody was actually telling me like that was a nephew or something of Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow, that's how committed he is to the role. He will only allow his family to play Deadpool.
Nice.
So I will admit I like that scene as well, and most of the reason I like that scene was because of all the disgust that was happening. Like TJ Miller's like, oh, and then eventually Domino's was like, I think I've seen enough of this shit. And the best part about Domino is like she's sitting there criticizing the situation, going, should have gone to college.
Yeah.
Your luck powers would have guaranteed you a great job. So, but anyway, we've sung Deadpool 2's praises. Let's talk the shit. What did we think that it did wrong?
Oh, I don't know. You go first. I can't think of anything right now.
Well, Fire Fist is one of mine.
Fire Fist,
the kid, you know, it's one of those weird trade-offs. Is I don't know if I would have gotten Juggernaut if not for Fire Fist, but I got him. I got Black Tom too because of him too. He's kind of an elusive mutant in the X-Men universe. In fact, I think the original speculation for the Gambit movie was that Black Tom was going to be his villain.
Mm-hmm.
Can't be now. He's dead. He dead.
Well, it depends. I mean, where they want it, if they ever get this Gambit movie made, it's been in development.
It's back in production, believe it or not.
Yeah, for now.
For now, yeah. So I don't like the character of Fire Fist. I actually think that the montages that like Deadpool would die and eventually go back to his wife, and I thought those eventually got a little old. I think they could have cut one of them out and it would have been fine. The last one though, you needed he needed to have that moment because that's Deadpool, dude. He has all those near misses and then has to go back. Deadpool's death could have been cut down by about 2 or 3 minutes. Because even then I could tell like on Ryan's face, he's reaching for jokes. So I'll give them that one.
As funny as it was, maybe the whole scene with the baby legs and his penis could have been trimmed a little bit.
No, actually, I'm against you on that one.
Okay.
That needed to be as awkward as it could possibly have been.
It was funny, but I think it just went on a little
one of the
off.
reasons it was funny was because it was awkward.
Yeah.
So at that point, that needed to stretch as long as possible. Go Family Guy on this shit, because that's the way it needed to go. I will say that where I loved what they did with Colossus, Negasonic What's-Her-Bucket was underutilized in this movie.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead, yeah.
Yeah, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, longest X-Men name ever.
Yeah, especially with
her girlfriend was used better than her.
Even then, I wanted to see more of her girlfriend because she looked like she had some pretty cool powers.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was off the top of my head, but
I don't. From what I
don't know the new X-Men.
Well, from what I heard, it's probably not an established character, but maybe like a composite of a different X-Men character.
But that's the problem is like I think the girlfriend was utilized better than Negasonic, and Negasonic was one of the better things of the first movie. So at that point, that was kind of a weird trade-off. I didn't like that. And this one's a nitpick, but I just gotta say it, okay? Eventually, there's Easter eggs where Deadpool gets his hands on the time device. And in fact, one of the better moments with Negasonic was this, where she fixes it up and gives it to Deadpool and goes, oh God, what have I done? That's exactly on you. And we actually got some really good moments out of that because we got to go revisit X-Men Origins and kill off not Deadpool. I will pay to see Louis Lovehog's actual reaction when that happened in the theater. I will pay to see it. Then I also have this other trade-off because we had to make fun of Green Lantern again. And instead they just decided to kill off Ryan Reynolds as a person in the Deadpool universe. And guys, this could have been a lot better if you just either went back in time to kill off the actual villain in the movie before he became the villain, or kill off the CG animator that created the actual reveal of the villain in the movie. And both of those would have been equally entertaining. Killing off Ryan Reynolds is not entertaining to me. Because he's one of the better things of Green Lantern.
Still gave us You're welcome, Canada.
Jeez.
I love the. I guess I should have also mentioned I love the Canada, like the references to Canada, because Ryan Reynolds is from Canada. So it's like, and it's like, so I can't remember the lines. He's like, somebody was like dissing Canada, and like Deadpool's like, you shut your filthy mouth.
Yes. Although I have been told that there's a deleted scene where he makes fun of the Prime Minister, and that I want to see, because Canada, I love you dearly, but your Prime Minister is a namby-pamby pain in the ass. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right here and now. I'm very anti-Trudeau. Anyway,
oh Canada,
you can hire a better Prime Minister. So at that point, like those are my dislikes, really. A lot of the mutants that were utilized, I think, were utilized properly. In fact, another good moment is, and dude, I don't know if it's just the way the week worked out. Almost one reference per day that I was laughing my butt off when I actually got around to seeing Deadpool 2, when Deadpool comes out of the taxi with the smartphone boombox for Colossus. I swear, I saw this reference throughout the week, whether it be a Game Grumps video or another video on YouTube. I saw this thing over and over, and it just made it that much more funny when I was in the theater, going, "Oh my gosh, he's doing it!"
Yeah, it was hilarious.
And the best part about that reaction was Colossus. She's like, I will not listen to this. It's the first time I've ever seen Peter Rasputin actually hit the fetal position with pillows over his ears.
That's how we do it in Mother Russia.
That's how we do it in Mother Russia, bitch.
Right as he sticks a cable up,
dude,
of Colossus.
I forgot about that. Oh,
that's how we do it in Mother Russia.
How we do it in Mother Russia. Yeah, those are my dislikes, really. Like I know a lot of people dislike the prison scenes because it's Deadpool slowly dying again, and most of the emphasis there is to show Fire Fist being an asshole. And I actually think that helped because, again, you had moments that kind of established Deadpool as not a person that Fire Fist should like. So I was okay with those scenes.
Right.
Especially the whole fight with Cable, man. That was absolutely hilarious. Especially when the powers kick in. It was like, powers have kicked in. Now I can fight you for real. And I was like, yes! Cable fighting actual Deadpool. But yeah, those are really the dislikes I have. So any dislikes that you had on the matter?
A little disappointed. I don't know a lot about the lore behind this, but just from like the post Deadpool coverage, I kind of learned a few things, like the Institute ran by the crazy Christian guy. I guess that's a villain that comes in X-Men later. I
don't know who, but yes.
Yeah. So a little disappointed they would
see. I know the mutant villains, but the human villains is always where I have issues.
Yeah, because
I know Trask, who was in Days of Future Past. I know him, but then if you go into anybody else that's human, that's a villain, I'm immediately like, not mutant, don't care.
Just really interesting concept of a character. I'm a little, and I think it was a little underutilized. And same with there
could have been more if it was an actual X-Men plot.
Yeah.
But what else did you want out of it? That Deadpool is going to make a bunch of anti-Christian jokes?
Not necessarily. Just it seems like an interesting plot considering X-Men and all, maybe. And
yeah,
I'm just a little worried
you're
now.
handing it to Deadpool, so at that point it's not like it's gonna get taken seriously.
Yeah, maybe not for Deadpool, but like for X-Men. And now I'm just wondering if X-Men's not gonna cover it because it's been in Deadpool now.
I don't know. I mean, the only X-Men movie that we have is the Phoenix one that's coming out later this year.
Yeah.
So if they decide to do another one, then yeah, that might actually be a really cool one. Another one I would like to see is the original comic concept for Geonosis, or not Geonosis, but Genosha, where it was basically like a slave camp it utilized those same collars that the prison system was using, but it was a slave camp for mutants. I would like to see that happen, and that had a human villain to it too. I think that was eventually Trask, but I can't remember.
All right.
Because I think they were mining. Yeah, because that's where Master Meld was. So that's where they were mining materials for Sentinels. So you kind of screwed the pooch there, but yeah. We need to have more X-Men movies where humans are the villain. That actually would be like a better thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, we could only have Magneto versus Xavier, so first.
Well, I mean, you could have Magneto in those plots as well, and the only difference here is that you need to take the Days of Future Past route, where that human villain is there for a good portion of the movie, and then kind of gets wiped out by Magneto, and we're all screwed, and that's why you have to take down Magneto. Kind of thing. You can do that because Days of Future Past did it.
Yeah, but I'm a little tired of Magneto, to be honest. He's a great character.
No, I agree. I'm just using it as an example. It'd probably be a lot better if all of a sudden it turns out that the human was actually a mutant. Like, say, there are a lot of Mr. Sinister plots that kind of end that way, or Apocalypse plots that end that way. So, I mean, either way, I think Apocalypse has done something similar to that, where he's led like a cult. I'm talking like old 70s drink the Kool-Aid cult kind of thing. You could do that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into final score for Deadpool 2. And I think we've pretty much also answered the question. Is it better or worse than Deadpool 1? It's a different experience than Deadpool 1. I think if you pulled out Deadpool 1 and then pulled out Deadpool 2, you'd get an entirely different storytelling experience. So not an easy thing to compare, but final score on Deadpool 2, Alex.
Great movie. Another solid 9 out of me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you on that. I think it's a 9. I was about to say it was going to be an 8.5, just given the fact that I don't like the villain of the story, but again, for everything that this movie, in my opinion, did wrong, they made up for later. I mean, people will know from the podcast, I was not excited about the X-Force announcement. I was not. I'm still not for X-Force being on camera, and there's still an X-Force movie happening. But the way that X-Force was implemented here was freaking hilarious, and so at that point, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we got Domino, and Domino is an X-Man, so you can tell stories with her, but everybody else is dead, so you don't have to worry about that stuff anymore. And the main reason I don't like the X-Force concept is because at that point I'm like, okay, then don't pull out the stops. I want an X-Factor movie, and I want an Excalibur movie, and I want all of them. I want you to split the X-Men up, and we get an X-Men Blue Team and an X-Men Gold Team movie. Don't stop there. There are a lot of other really good X-Men team-ups.
Yeah.
So,
and the X makes everything sound cooler.
It does, in fact.
I prefer extortion. The X makes it sound cool.
Including the European version, which is Excalibur.
Interesting, yeah.
It's not actually spelled Excalibur. It's X-Caliber. Or X-Factor. It all works out, people. My final score, yeah, I'm just going to go with a 9, because for everything wrong that Deadpool 2 does, it makes up for, ultimately. Yeah. So, I mean, would I have loved to have had a cameo from Patrick Stewart or anything like that? Sure, but what are you going to do with it? Patrick has to be serious in front of Deadpool, and I don't want him to be serious. I want him to interact with Deadpool. I will say, though, that the trailers gave me false advertising because I wanted a joyride in that chair, damn it. And I didn't get one.
Well, wasn't he riding it around the mansion?
Yeah, but he was riding around all namby-pamby like. I mean, I wanted actually like him in Professor X's office spinning the chair around. Just, guys, you spent so much money on that chair. Just have fun with it. So that's my only beef on the false advertising front. But how much would we recommend that people spend to see Deadpool 2?
I'd say it's worth any general theater price. I don't think you need to see it like Atmos or go anything fancy or crazy. I'd say any time.
I will say this: don't take your kids.
Yeah,
this is not for your kids. Absolutely not for your kids. There are going to be a lot of jokes that you don't want to have to explain later. including Juggernaut. Yeah, so, this is definitely something for adults night out kind of thing. I can actually vouch for the fact, just because this was the showing that worked, I saw it in Atmos and it worked.
Oh, that's good.
A lot of it really worked. So if you want to put on an extravagance there, do Atmos. It's worth it. But overall, I would just say like primetime is probably worth it for this movie. I don't think, considering the imagery, I don't think 3D would help.
Not really.
Yeah, I can think of maybe a few moments where it might be cool to see Deadpool's decapitated head flying at you, but it's not like that adds anything to it. So yeah, I'd say see it primetime. If you want to see it on Atmos, you won't be disappointed, but just go see it. I think you'll have fun. I think we've gotten this all out of our systems, haven't we?
Yeah.
At least until we record again, and then we're going to be referencing this for probably a couple of months.
Yeah.
So, but that's going to go ahead and do it for this review, or this Drak and Shadow vlog of Deadpool 2. Thank you guys so much for your continued love, patience, support, and all that fun stuff. And when we come back, we're going to be taking on a more recent review as we take on Solo, a Star Wars story. We'll see you guys then.